What's up everybody, Pete with Auto Repair Tips. In this video, I got an 08 Ford F-150 with a 5.4. And here's the story behind this one. Guy was at home, wanted to tune his truck up, wanted to put plugs on it and I don't know, maybe some coil packs. They got into it. Not sure if it was a few beers later, but when they were finally finished, started it up, all the lights and dash came on and the AC quit working and started blowing fuses. So in this video, we're gonna see what they did wrong. Let's get into it. All right, let's see what kind of codes are in this thing. We have a Ford, automatic ID. Let's try it. So this says it's an 06. All right. Let's do a full system scan. We'll scan everything and see what's going on. Ignition coil primary circuit fault. ABS CAN bus fault. ABS. So I don't know what they did, but he made it sound like every light was on. Let me start this thing up. If we look at it, there's no check engine light, just a brake light and ABS light. Ignition coil C, primary secondary fault. What is that about? It is on. Replace ignition coil. P353. Maybe he broke the coil or something. Tell you what. ABS module, no communication. That might be a balloon fuse also. He said that some fuses blew. That probably could be that alone. Let's do this. No communication. Now if it's not talking to it, that means it's definitely don't have any powers or grounds. And he said the AC wasn't working. Let's do this. Let's cut the AC on. We got it on. AC on, AC off, recycle. Cold is cold. All right, let's go outside. Let me go under the hood. Let's see if the compressor's on. Doesn't really feel like it's on. And let's if the compressor's not on, I'm gonna start with checking some fuses. So not sure if you can see that or not, but the compressor is right down there at the very bottom. It is definitely not on. Somebody's been poking around in here because here's the cap that goes to that right there. So we're going to go to the anti-lock brakes to start with that. Let's see what kind of codes are in there. Memory codes. Continue. No communication. That may be the fuse that keeps blowing he's talking about, that and the AC. Because I would think that this fuse for the anti-lock brake and the AC will be on separate circuits. But before I go, let's do this. Let's go to the powertrain control module. Let's do a data display. Go back. Let's go back. What am I looking for here? Let's go to the engine again. Functional test. Nothing there. Nothing there. Engine data. Continue. I've got the request for the AC on. Let's see if it's on. Air conditioning, clutch, allowed, not allowed. Okay. So may have two blown fuses. Let's go ahead and let me check these fuses. That's our next step. Let's see where that ABS fuse is located at. I thought the paperwork said it was 08. No, it's 06. Just need to get a better set of contacts. ABS. All right, ABS module. We're into the wiring diagram. ABS module, traction control system right here. Communication red right here. Central junction box near right rear pillar. ABS control module. Wheel speed, battery volts is this one. Battery volts is this one. So this is what we're looking for right here. Ignition, or hot at all times, and hot at all times. 40 amp fuse and a 20 amp fuse. So that fuse box is located right there. That's right, that's right there. I'm gonna set you guys down and see, can I give you a better view? That looks okay, I guess. I don't know, we'll see. If you can't see, just let me know. So we're gonna start off with, goes this way, fuse number 11. Ouch. One, two, three, that one. And fuse number 11 is right here. You know what? I think I'm just going to run down all of them. I apologize if the view sucks, but it's the best I can do right now. One blowing. So we got a blowing right here. What number is that one? 3 over. Fuse 14. Let's go see what fuse 14 is. So fuse 14 is the digital transmission range, the sensor, the daylight running lights, the relay, AC pressure switch, which is probably why it's not turning on the AC system. Let me start by putting that fuse in there and let's see if it blows. So I'll be right honest with you, looking at this fuse I just pulled out, you can see it's blown. It does not look new, it looks old. The fuse is actually faded, the terminals are, you can see they're old, it's old. So he says he keeps blowing fuses, but I don't believe he put a fuse in here. Oh, you bastard, you. Trying to get a damn thing where I can get y'all a view. There ain't nothing seem to be working. So I put that fuse in just now, AC kicked on, and the fuse did not blow. So I don't know, like I said, maybe it's the ABS one that keeps blowing the fuses, but the AC seems to be working good now. I don't have any issues. I'm gonna cut it off real quick, then we'll cut the AC on. Boom, recycle. I just heard the compressor kick on. So I think we got that one covered. All right, let's head on to the ABS module and let's check that fuse out. So I think that was a simple fix. That could have just been coincidental. Hold on a second. The damn ABS light went out also. Let's do this, let's go back real quick. They're closing up here, but let's go back, X out of this. Curious if we can talk to the module now because the putting that one fuse in there, the brake lights, the anti-lock brake light cut off also. Let's display data, boom. Come on, go. And we have communication, don't we? We sure do. So that one fuse fixed everything. All right, at this point, I just put that one fuse in there. Everything seems to be working. He said he put multiple fuses in and it kept blowing. I think I need to call the customer, get a little more information and see what fuse he was replacing because I just did that one 10 amp fuse and like I pulled it out and showed you, that fuse definitely didn't look new to me and everything's working. So either it's gonna be a lane video or it's gonna be a little more involved. I'll let you know after I talk to the customer. I'll catch you in a bit. So last night I finally got to talk to the customer. Took me a little while to get a hold of him, but when I did, we had a long conversation. And this is one of them times where like if you take your car to a shop, you definitely need to tell them the whole story. You just can't give bits and pieces because there is a lot to this story. So here's what went down. He had a guy come out and put a air conditioning compressor on his car. Hold on. The story went so many different ways that I had to actually ask it like 3 or 4 times. Okay, his AC wasn't working. So he had a gentleman come out, put Freon in his AC system, turned it on, it blew a fuse. It blew that fuse that we replaced yesterday. Then the guy diagnosed it as a bad compressor. He replaced the compressor, he put Freon in the car, turned the AC on again, and the AC didn't work. He said he went back to that fuse and it was still blown. He replaced it. I looked at that fuse yesterday and I told the guy, I said, this fuse doesn't even, unless he used a used fuse, it definitely wasn't a new fuse. So he put that fuse in there. The customer said everything was fine. He drove it for like 2 or 3 days. Then he worked the cruise control. When he hit the cruise control, the fuse blew again. So what we're gonna do today is right now it's working, there's no check engine lights. I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna drive this thing, I'm gonna work the cruise control, we're gonna do different things just to try to get the mess up. So let's get to it. So the cruise control in this truck is in the steering column, or the steering wheel, should I say. So let's get this thing up to some speed. And that fuse, we'll know if it blows because the ABS light comes on and the AC cuts off, which is kind of weird to have all that on the same circuit, but I guess it's possible. So sitting here at a stoplight, pushing the on and off button, I don't see anything on the dash that's lighting up that the cruise is even working or that but AC still works. And we don't have the ABS light. All right, I'm on the interstate too. We're doing about 60 miles an hour. So if this was to work, it's gonna definitely work now. See it not working at a lower speed of 30 miles an hour, but at 60 miles an hour, I hit that button, that light should come on. All right, let me get it back to the shop and let me pull this thing in. Let me look at the compressor he put on there and make sure there's no bare wires, you know, hitting anything. And then let me find the fuse for the cruise control and see if that's blown. So I don't have my lift today. We got a 64 Corvette on there that Carl's installing a fuel injection system on it. I'll show you that in a few minutes. So I couldn't get you guys under the truck, but I started wiggling some wires to see if the compressor would cut off, and the whole truck cut off. What the guy did is, I think it's a crank sensor switch, or I think it's a crank sensor connector right there by the back of the compressor. He broke that clip and he wire tied it through the clip or through the connector, and then stuck it back up in there. And when I was wiggling, the whole truck just cut off, so I had to get that back on there. The compressor did not cut off at this point, so right now I'm gonna go look for a fuse for the cruise control and see if that one's blown. If it is, I'll reinstall that, then we'll go for another test drive. But I do need to let the guy know that that sensor connector for the crank, it'll just fall off at any time. It is not on there very well at all, so that's something he probably wants to fix, even if it's not related to this problem, because driving down the road 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, you hit a bump, that connector is just going to come apart and the truck will cut off, and that's definitely not a good thing. So let me hunt down this next fuse. I'll check with, we'll see if it's blown. I'll get you guys on board then, and then we'll go from there. All right, fuse number 2 is way up yonder. It is 1, 2 right here. So I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but that's one side of the fuse. And that's the other side of the fuse. So that fuse is good also. And we did say number 14, but was bad yesterday. I'm just gonna run down these fuses one more time on the side here. This is the one that I replaced right here. And they are all still looking good. You know, sometimes rather than go to a specific fuse, and you get one in like this, sometimes it's best just to run through all the fuses just to make sure that everything is kosher. And we did it yesterday, but we're gonna do it again today. I'm hoping you guys can see what I'm seeing. Because stupid ass place to put a fuse box. All right, I don't see anything out of the ordinary. I'm just running down these here. We got that one there. Some fuses are just dead all the way around unless something gets activated. And I get that, but all right, so we're done. Let me call this guy up and make sure. So far, all I found is that one bad clip, which, I mean, maybe in wiggling it, that could have blown that fuse. I don't know. I don't think it's on the same circuit, but yeah, I guess anything is possible. But this cruise definitely don't work. And let me call this customer back up and confirm that that cruise actually worked, because it does not work now. All right, so I just got back off the phone with the customer for the second time, and we're gonna go ahead and fix this clip right here that goes to the crank sensor. I'm gonna put a new one on there because, like I said, if you look right here, you can see it's wired. Somebody put a wire tie through the sensor just to keep them sliding off, and that thing will vibrate off, like I said earlier, and it would definitely cut off on them. The AC is still working. It's possible with just a fuse. But we're gonna get this clip on there, and I'm gonna take it for a test drive and make sure that fuse don't blow. Like I said, I just didn't want to drive it with a connector like that, simply because I wasn't taking a chance of being on the interstate somewhere and had that thing flop off. When the other connector gets here, we'll get it installed, get it hooked up, and go for a test drive. While we're waiting for the connector, I'm gonna go ahead and prep this wire. I'm gonna slice it, I'm gonna strip it back far enough so we have plenty of room to work with. Well, this weekend is gonna be Memorial Weekend, and like I said, I've said it in one of my past videos, I spent the last 35 years in the Outer Banks every Memorial Weekend. And last year when my daughter started her volleyball team, they travel, they go to Richmond, and there's like nothing. Richmond, you can't compare Richmond in the Outer Banks because, you know, there's an ocean and all kinds of crap to do. In Richmond, there's like nothing to do. It's like night and day. And my kids are still my older kids, because that's how they grew up going there. They're still kind of like, Dad, what the hell are you doing? You're ruining it. Oh well, it is what it is. It's all right. I wouldn't change it for the world. Just another chapter in my life, right? So we got a blue, and we got a. This thing got some freaking grease, oil, or something all over it. What the heck is this? That's a halfway clip. All right, I think we're good. All right, let's get that up. Before I cut it, we're gonna get the other clip here, match it up, make sure it's the right one, because I don't want to cut it and it not be the right one, then I'm kind of screwed. All right, so an 08 connector, an 08 Ford. The connector price is a PT. The part number is a PTA 1961. That's what it looks like. And it seemed to fit pretty good, so we're gonna go ahead and put this one in and get it down off my lift. Sometime back I bought these angle crimpers, and they're pretty decent for getting in little tight spots. The other set I have is, they're so big, they're Snap-on, but they're really big. Those are kind of a generic one. I actually think I bought them from the Snap-on guy, and they're not even a name brand. He just happened to carry them on his truck. We were doing a lot of police cars at the time, wiring them up, and this got in all the tight areas. Here's something you don't see really all too often. The wires are the correct color. And you don't see that too often. Normally you buy something and you have to mark it so you know where the heck it went back together at. And normally those connectors, they're either all white or they're all black. You don't normally get them with the correct colors. It makes it a little bit easier, I can honestly say. You know, I'm sure you guys know this, and we've probably talked about it 100 times. When you're putting connectors together and you have to do and you're heat shrinking the ends of them, make sure you don't use the part with the nipple because you'll poke a hole in it and that's defeating your whole purpose. I'm sure half the world knows that already, but if I didn't say it, I wouldn't be doing my job. That's why I get paid the big bucks. All right, so I got this thing out on the road. AC blowing ice cold, ABS light is off. Don't see any check engine lights. One thing for sure, I did talk to him again about the car, and he said, yeah, every once in a while it seemed like it wanted to sputter and want to cut off for a second. That's probably going to be that connector on that crank sensor. But I've hit the switch, held it down, nothing. I hit a couple bumps here. You know, it's a good possibility that the switch here maybe shorted out. It's just not working anymore, and that's what blew that fuse at one time. There's so many daggone different possibilities. You know, when you diagnose someone like this, I'm just going to charge a diagnostic fee and time to install that connector. You know, the fuse is a gimme. Not going to charge the man for a 2-cent fuse, but we're doing all right. All right, well, you know what that means, right? This job is done. There's not much more I can do with this thing. If it's not going to mess up on me, I don't know what direction to go in. And it's a good possibility, like I was telling him, and I had mentioned a second ago, you know, maybe the cruise control switch shorted out for the last time. And that's what blew that fuse. But we're done. And I appreciate you watching. That's it for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Catch you later.